Good morning. It's good to be back with you again. And if you're following these closely, you'll notice there's been a bit of a gap. What's that been to do with? Oh, I don't know. I think I've been running out of steam a bit. We're having a few days off next week, so that's great. And I think that the general feeling of lockdown fatigue, I think lots of people are struggling. And you just think the time's going by. This is what, I don't know, 28th of May, I think, today. And we're, May's gone and we're still in lockdown. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're feeling a bit flat and struggling, don't worry. You're in good company. And there may be a need to do something about that, to talk to someone, to say, I'm really struggling. There's no harm in struggling. And usually people are delighted to be able to help, unless they're in a really deep hole themselves. And I've also been wrestling with how to express this. This is part of my Contemplative Intercession mini-series within the prayer videos. And it's something quite deep, and I think I have to share it from me. And it's how contemplative prayer challenges my inner needs that get caught up with stuff in intercession. I've shared before that I have a need to be needed. I think there's also quite a strong need to achieve. And intercession can do the wrong things there, because you can get caught up with feeling that you're doing stuff for God. Here I am being an intercessor, a prayer warrior. Now, there is a need for that, to be someone who really understands prayer and who can be called on to hold people and situations before God, and they know how to do that because it's part of their muscle memory. But with all gifts from God, we're coming up to Pentecost, I'm thinking about the gifts of the Holy Spirit. There are dangers in seeing them as merit badges. I'm an intercessor, I'm this, I'm a prophet, I'm whatever it is. And it just feels, over the years, I've begun to feel difficult about those sort of statements when I make them, when other people make them. So, contemplative prayer challenges that. I think it undergirds intercession really powerfully, that we come to intercession based on a daily encounter with God and his love. And that sharpens, as I said before, focuses our intercession. But it also challenges us not to get carried away with ourselves. I suppose you can equally get carried away with saying, oh, I'm a contemplative, or I'm a mystic, or something. There are so many pitfalls in the Christian life. And I suppose it is that in contemplative prayer, we can connect with God in a way that allows God to challenge those misconceptions, those dangers that there are within ourselves. We can come to God and be so open to God that we might feel his nudge saying, yeah, it's good that you're growing in whatever it is, but this is not your identity. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's, where do we find our identity as Christians? And it has to be in knowing that we are loved and accepted by God, in not and not feeling that we are doing things for God. And those of us who are in full-time ministry, it's a big danger. I have a ministry. I am a vicar. Yeah, well, I do call myself a vicar. But I hope that my identity is not in being a parson or a vicar, but in knowing that I am loved and accepted by God. And I have to keep coming back to that, because there are dangers, particularly when we are low, feeling struggling. We need to come back to that challenge to find our identity in knowing that we are loved and accepted by God, because that just feels a secure foundation on which to build. I suppose if you want a passage, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff about being still that I've looked at. What's just come to mind is that building on rock and building on sand. So often that is, come to Jesus and you'll build on a rock. But actually, we who are Christians can be still building on sand. We can be building on the shifting sands of feeling that we are something or someone, rather than the rock of knowing that we are loved and accepted by God. So how do we turn that into prayer? Well, I've probably suggested to you the breath prayer. Accept or accepted, you could use. And just breathe in and out on that word. Accepted. Accepted. And just know that we're accepted by God. In fact, I think I need to do that this morning when I do my 20 minutes. Use that word as a sacred word within centering prayer. Accepted. Just knowing that I'm accepted. Just coming back to that foundation. Another, I think, word or two words that I've suggested is I am, which roots us in who we are in God, and of course in God, who is the great I am. We are because He is. With breath prayer, I've learned over the years to try a few out and just see which just fits the gap that I've got today, that the need, and try a few out and find one that meets the need to take us deeper with God, to take us back to that rock of God's love and acceptance for us. Amen.